freshman, ninth grader at Harvard, and she has done so many amazing things in research. She has done a project in 8th grade, which won first at the Synopsis Science Fair, which is the regional science fair. It won first at the California State Science Fair, and she even qualified out of 80,000 students to the top 30 Broadcom Masters finalists, and she won first in engineering, I believe, at the Broadcom Masters competition. So Alice, and like beyond these awards, Alice has done so much more in her research, and her research projects are really interesting, and she's just an amazing person to know. And so I think today she'll be talking to you about her science research experience and giving you some advice on how to pursue your own research projects. So please welcome Alice.
So thank you so much, Cynthia, for that lovely introduction. So I'm Alice, and today I'm going to be talking about science research for middle school students. So 2 years ago, I was like one of you in the audience, and I was actually listening to a talk by Cynthia. So she was the one who first introduced me to science research and Broadcom Masters. So thank you again, Cynthia. So here is a quick agenda. As you can see, we have a Q&A session at the end, so please hold your questions until the very end. So I'm going to start off by introducing myself more and also by introducing my science research project from 8th grade. Like Cynthia said, I'm a freshman at the Harper High School. I love science and engineering, and I hope to pursue a career in STEM. I've won a few science awards, and they were all from my science research project in 8th grade. I also enjoy helping the community, especially by spreading my knowledge of science to younger students. And outside of school, I enjoy dancing, skating, and playing the piano. As you can see there's a picture of me skating. So my project was on mushrooms. So I wanted to grow an environmentally friendly material that could take the place of materials that harm the environment, but we still use every day. So mycelium is the vegetative part of a mushroom. You can think of it as the root of a mushroom. And mycelium materials can be an environment-friendly alternative to wood, plastics, cardboard, and fiberglass. So mycelium has the ability to bind particles together, specifically agricultural waste products. And mushroom farmers call this agricultural waste product the substrate. Anything that the mycelium grows on is called the substrate. So the mycelium basically grows throughout the particles of agricultural waste product, and it binds it all together, holding it in one piece. So I wanted to test how different combinations of mushroom species and substrate type would affect the physical properties of the mycelium material, specifically through strength, insulation, electromagnetic radiation shielding, and soundproof. So I tested those 5 species of mushroom: reishi, shiitake, king oyster, phoenix oyster, lion's mane. You might have heard of some of them. I also tested those 7 different types of substrates: sawdust, fine wood chips, coarse wood chips, hemp with rice hull, corrugated paper with coffee ground, straw, and sunflower seed shells. So mycelium material has many benefits. It grows super fast. It grows much faster than wood, specifically. It's also really strong. It can, like a very small piece of mycelium brick can hold up to 50 pounds of weight. It's also sustainable, chemical-free, unlike plastics, and also fiberglass, which is used as insulation for most houses. It's also beneficial to plant growth. In my project, I actually tested how pieces of mycelium would affect plant growth, and the plant that grew with mycelium in its soil grew much better than the plant without mycelium in its soil. Mycelium is also biodegradable. It's resilient to water, acid, and alkaline, and it outperforms styrofoam, cardboard, and fiberglass in all of the testing that I did. And during my project, I also found that it was thermal insulating, it was soundproofing, lightweight, moldable. You could grow it in almost any shape. It floated in water, and it was also water repellent. So as you can see, my cylinder material has lots of potential. Here are some pictures of the substrates that I used. As you can see here, that's the corrugated paper. Those are wood chips, that's hemp, that's straw. And like as you can see here, I had to clean all of the substrates very well to decrease the risk of contamination because that was a big problem for me. And here are some pictures of the final product, my mycelium material. So as you can see, there's some different textures, and that's just because of the different combination of mushroom species and agricultural waste product types. And through my project, I found that mycelium material really does have the potential to replace materials that harm the environment, such as fiberglass, styrofoam, and cardboard. So now I'm going to be talking about my experience at the Broadcom Masters Finalist competition. First off, some fun facts of Broadcom Masters. It's the most prestigious national science competition for middle school students, and it's hosted by SSP, also known as the Society for Science and the Public. Some other SSP science competitions are Intel ICEP and General STS. In 2018, like Cynthia said, 80,000 middle school students attended SSP affiliated science fairs, and attending SSP affiliated science fairs is the only way you can get into Broadcom Masters. So the top 10% of students were nominated for just the Broadcom Masters application, and 300 semifinalists were announced on September 5th, and the 30 finalists were individually notified by a phone call on September 17th and publicly announced on September 18th. And that was one of the most exciting phone calls I've ever gotten. The finalist competition was then in Washington, D.C. from October 19th through 24th. And all expenses were paid for the finalist and one parent. And $100,000 was awarded as prize money to the finalists. Broadcom Masters was definitely a life-changing experience for me. It greatly improved my skills of teamwork and leadership. I gained 29 other friends, and they were all big inspirations to me, and their science projects were all really amazing. I also was able to gain confidence because we had to present a lot at our week in Washington, D.C. And it also helped me with persistence and independence because we had a lot of team challenges that were quite difficult. And also the parents weren't allowed to help with any of the team challenges. So that also helped with independence. And as you can see, the people at Broadcom Masters worked really hard to make this experience memorable and unique. They designed personalized baseball cards for all 30 finalists. And it has a name on it, some fun facts about us, and a bit about our project. And I just brought one here, as you can see. We also all got a minor planet named after us as a gift from the MIT Lincoln Laboratory. And they also designed a chocolate wrapper with all 30 finalists' names on it. Now I'm going to be talking about what I did at Finalist Week. So on Friday, the first day, October 19th, we had team bonding at the Westin Hotel, where we all lived in Washington, D.C. And all 30 finalists were divided into 6 different groups of 5 people in each group. And we stayed with our team the entire week, so we got to know them really well. On Saturday, we had research project judging and public viewing at National Geography. And this research project judging is for your individual science research project, which you presented at the regional science fair and probably your state science fair. As you can see, there's a picture of me here with Miss Paula, and she's the president of the Broadcom Foundation. And up there are pictures from when we visited Capitol Hill to take pictures. And we had to get up really early, and it was really early for all the people living on the West Coast, especially because of the time difference. But we got to take those wonderful pictures. On Sunday, we had our first day of team challenges, and it was at the Westin Hotel. So as you can see, I'm in the top picture in the purple team, and in that picture, we were coding for a Raspberry Pi. And then to the picture with the yellow team, that's also for the Raspberry Pi. And below that, with the black team, they're investigating a big zombie virus apocalypse, and they had to figure out how to stop it and to identify the type of virus and what organ it infected. And to the left, there's the white team, and they were doing some experiments with density. So as you can see, all of the challenges were really different. They wanted to test all of our skills. And on Monday, we had a second day of team challenges at the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center, which is right next to Chesapeake Bay in Maryland. So in the morning, we went to Chesapeake Bay and we collected samples of the very diverse wildlife there. We found things like jellies, we found fish, we found crabs, and much more. And in the afternoon, we designed our own prototypes of shark tags, and we even got to talk with shark scientists and shark experts, and they taught us how to suture a fake shark tag into a fake shark, which was the banana. On Tuesday, we visited Capitol Hill and the offices of our representatives, so our Congress people and our senators. And then we had a career panel, and all of the panelists were previous winners from Intel competitions. And we really got to talk to them in detail about their science projects from before, and also what they're doing now. And then Tuesday night, we had the award ceremony. On Wednesday, we visited the White House. So specifically, we got to meet with Dr. Jeff Weld, who is the Senior Policy Advisor for the White House, and we helped him, we discussed with him the STEM plan that they were working on. And we also got to meet with Ms. Ivanka Trump and talk about all of our individual science projects. So now I'm going to be talking about how to apply for Broadcom Masters, which I'm sure you've all been waiting for. So first you have to get nominated for a Broadcom Masters application. And like I said before, you have to attend an SSP-affiliated science fair, and they run from March through April. And the link right there tells you if a specific science fair is SSP-affiliated. In the Bay Area, you can attend one of the following science fairs. There are two synopsis science fairs. There's the San Mateo County Science Fair, and there's the California State Science Fair, which you have to qualify for. And those are the links for those science fairs. At the synopsis Santa Clara Valley Science Fair, it's in March. The first place category winners are nominated for Broadcom Masters. And the first and second place category winners get to go to the California State Science Fair. At the California State Science Fair, the first place winner is nominated for Broadcom Masters if they haven't already been nominated at the Regional Science Fair. The second place winner is then nominated for a Broadcom Masters application if the first place winner was already nominated at their Regional Science Fair. So as you can see, there are a few opportunities to get nominated for a Broadcom Masters application. And then you have to write the application once you do get nominated. So there are 4 parts to the application. The first part is some personal information. The second part is project information. So basically you have to write your science presentation down, and you have to be really clear and to the point. You have to write about your project methodology and procedure, data analysis and interpretation, conclusion, and finally issues and lessons learned. Part 3 were essay questions. The people at Broadcom Masters want to know how you solve problems, and you want to show that you have logical thinking skills and creative ideas. And you got to choose from two prompts for these 3 sections that you see there. And these prompts change every year. For the first section, it was about my project, and I got to choose from either writing an abstract or a 3-sentence description, basically a very short summary of my project. The next section, about me, you could either choose to automate a thing that you did every day, or you could choose to enhance one of your sentences and write how your role for change. And finally, the third section was solving a problem. So there are 2 problems that you could choose to solve. One of them was the impact of the rising sea level, and the other one was estimating mileage traveled on foot by American people living in America. And part 4 was about personal interests. As cheesy as it sounds, you want to show the real you so that the people at Broadcom Masters really get to know you better through your application. You can talk about your hobbies, extracurricular activities, teamwork, and also possible career interests. Once you get nominated by the application, and if you get into the top 30 finalists, you get to go to the finalist competition. So I'm going to be telling you how to do well there. At the finalist competition, each finalist gets their own score. So the research project, basically our individual research project judging from Saturday, if you remember, is only worth 20% of the score. So even if you feel like you did poorly in that part of the week, you could still have a really good chance of doing great in the overall competition. The team score from the team challenges is 5%. And the individual score from the team challenges is 75%. So that's the part that you really want to focus on. In all of the team challenges, there were judges following around every single second, and they watched us really closely to see how we worked with our team. You want to be proactive, you want to show your strengths, you want to work well with your team. You also want to support your teammates and communicate well with them, because this part is really about how you can solve a problem with your team. You don't want to show that your teammates are worse than you. You want to make them better. But you also want to show all of your strengths so that the judges feel better about you. You also want to communicate well, lead the team definitely, be persistent, because the team challenges can be quite difficult. And you really don't have to prepare for the competition, because most of these skills you can't develop in a few days. Here are the awards given by Broadcom Masters. There are 4 grand prize winners, and their prize money went from $500 to $25,000. There were 4 first place STEM winners. I was one of them. I won first place in engineering, and we got $3,500 plus an iPad. The 4 second place STEM winners got $2,500 plus an iPad. There was 1 team award, and all of the team awards got an iPod. And there were 2 Rising Star awards to current 7th graders. And they get to go to Intel ICEP as an observer, which is also very interesting because they get to see all the cool Science 6 projects at Intel. And they also get to go to the International Broadcom Masters competition. Finally, there was 1 leadership award, and they got to give a presentation at the awards ceremony, and the winner of the leadership award was chosen by their fellow finalists. So before you can go to science fair, you first have to do science research. So for most of you, you'll be joining a synopsis science fair through your school. For Harker 8th graders, I know most of you go to Harker. There's a 30 project limit to enter synopsis if you're in 8th grade. For 8th graders, you have to join the Science Research Program, also known as SRP. And for previous years, basically whoever got to the registration line first was able to join, but now there's a lottery of sorts. Basically anyone who wants to join can sign their name down, and then the teachers randomly choose 30 projects, basically 30 partners to enter. And 6th and 7th graders can enter synopsis on your own, and you're not limited by the 30 projects. And that link right there are the instructions for the applications, but if you do join SRP, you really don't have to look at that link because the teachers at Harvard do a very good job at guiding students through the application project. For projects on humans, animals, dangerous chemicals, and some other things, you need an synopsis SRC pre-approval, which is due on November 28th. And then you have to submit your application to your regional fair, and it may need a couple of rounds before it's approved, but don't feel discouraged because most projects are not approved on the first try. The final submission deadline is January 23rd, so you want to get your project approved before January 23rd. You can also choose to join Synopsis Science Fair by yourself, only if your school doesn't sponsor the science fair at all or just not for your grade. Your parent in that case would have to be your mentor. A middle schooler cannot do RRI. There's a special bubble for RRI on the application form, and RRI is basically regulated research institutions. For example, if you did your science project at a lab in a university and you're a middle schooler, you wouldn't be able to enter a synopsis science fair with that project. You also have to find a research idea to work on for your science research project. You should really know the issues around you, especially environmental, medical, energy, and natural disaster. For example, there have been a lot of wildfires in California recently, so judges, especially in California, would love to see projects on the wildfires. You can also get an annual pass to science museums, such as the Tech Museum, the Exploratorium, and the California Academy of Sciences. These museums all have incredible science exhibits, and they change these very often, so you can always expect to see something new when you go there. You can also follow Facebook posts and also other social media for science organizations such as Nature, Phys.org, Science, the Smithsonian Magazine, and a lot of other organizations. They always post really interesting science-related topics. And even if you don't decide to use one of their posts as your research idea, it's really good for general science knowledge. Your idea doesn't have to be an entirely new idea. You can definitely build on existing ideas. There's a website called sciencestudies.org, which if you need inspiration for a research idea, you can definitely go there. They have experiments of any type of topic, pretty much, and they even give you ways of making the project your very own, and they give you all the materials you need and all the procedures that you would have to follow. How to do well at science research. So you want to be independent. You should be the one doing your science project, not your parents or your teachers. You should seek help from experts. People are always willing to help, and like these experts, especially if they realize that a middle school student is interested in their field of expertise, they're very interested in helping you. It's very common to fail. There's lots of opportunities to fail in science research, but you definitely should be patient and persistent. For my story, I had never grown mushrooms before, and I had no idea how to grow mushrooms. So I had to search online, and I tried so many different methods because I needed one consistent method that would work for all my different combinations of mushroom species and substrate type. And I had so many different failures. For example, my mycelium didn't grow for a lot of the different types of substrates. And there is also contamination, which I mentioned previously. Basically, green mold would grow, and it's pretty gross. And it would also kill the mycelium. So I decided to email some mushroom farmers, and they really helped me and gave me great advice. They gave me some links for websites and also YouTube videos that I could watch. And after you finish your science project, you go to the science fair. So how to do well at the science fair. You should prepare a clean, informative, and easy to follow poster. You should only put the most important information. Definitely do not write an essay. The judges look at your poster before you present it to them, so they should be able to understand most of your project without you having to present it. Use bullet points, larger fonts, photos, charts, graphs, anything that makes your presentation more visual and easy to follow. Also use colors to draw attention, but not too many colors or else it looks unprofessional and it's really distracting. Make a video and also write clean lab notebooks, record all of the numbers you use, all of the materials you use, all of the procedures you use. And while you're doing your project, try to take pictures and record videos, and it really gives the judges a better picture of what you did. You should definitely rehearse your presentation several times before presenting it to judges. You can rehearse it to your parents, your teachers, your friends, anyone that's willing to listen, because it's really different if you rehearse it or if you didn't rehearse it, and the judges can tell. You should also be loud and clear while you're presenting at the Science Center, at the San Jose Center, where I presented my project at Synopsis. It was really loud inside, so if I wasn't loud, then the judge wouldn't even be able to hear me. You should try to speak at a normal speed and to pause often so that the judges can take in, process all of the information that you're telling them, and also so they can ask questions if they do come up with questions. And if you don't know the answer to a question, you should just say something like, "That's a very good question, I didn't think about it." The judges don't expect you to know everything, so it's pretty normal if you don't know the answer to something. The benefits of doing science research in middle school, it's an early start. Some people start science research in high school, but if you start in middle school, you'll be ahead of them. You can also improve communication skills significantly by going to science fairs. And communication skills are generally a good life skill to have. It also looks good on your resume and science camp applications because many science summer camps do look for prior experience. You can also extend your middle school project to high school. And it's also easier to find a high school research mentor if you already did research in middle school, because the high school research mentor knows that you're interested and passionate and you have time to actually do the science research project that you tell them you're going to do. So you can also help the community by doing science research programs and just by being interested in science in general. So I'm part of Opportunity X, and Opportunity X is actually founded by Cynthia and her friend from Broadcom Masters. So Opportunity X is a student-led nonprofit organization aiming to bring science research to everyone. It was founded by 2 Broadcom Masters finalists in 2016, and Cynthia was one of them. We host weekly science research workshops at underrepresented schools in San Jose, and we also host workshops of different topics at local libraries for students interested in science research, like you guys. We also help students get accepted into Synopsis Science Fair, especially if their school doesn't offer them the resources to do so. And Opportunity X so far has been really successful. We've partnered with schools in Texas and Florida, and we've also partnered with several schools here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, so just to add on to more about what Alice said about Opportunity X. She kind of touched upon this. We lead a bunch of school programs. We actually lead 4 school programs in East San Jose, and 1 in Texas and 1 in Florida. And so these school programs are led by high schoolers like us. We have a really large leadership team composed of high schoolers who are really passionate about science and research. And so personally, I'm leading Royal Middle School this year from the 2018-2019 school year. And it's just an amazing experience. Basically, we lead these students through their own science research projects, and we get them more interested in science, and we do a bunch of fun experiments. And the students learn really a lot about research, communication, like Alice mentioned previously, and how to present their ideas in a professional manner. And overall, we have a lot of fun because these students go from not really being able to know the scientific method to actually conducting their own science research projects in like a hands-on manner. And it's just a very educational and rewarding opportunity.
Yeah, and just adding on to what Cynthia said, a lot of these students are interested in science and conducting their own science research projects, but they just don't have the resources to do so in their own schools. For example, I lead the workshops at River Glen Middle School. As you can see in the picture on the left, I'm on the very left, and the lady next to me, she's the only science teacher for the entire middle school at River Glen. So Opportunity X is currently looking for high school volunteers. So if you have a sibling who's in high school, please talk to them about Opportunity X. We have a few leadership roles open. School program leaders, basically leading the weekly school workshops. We also have workshop leaders, fundraising and publicity and outreach positions available. I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of volunteering. So you can receive volunteering hours. For many schools, you need volunteer hours to graduate. And it also helps you gain important leadership skills, especially if you're a school program leader, because you're basically leading a class every week. You also get to meet other science-loving high schoolers like us, and definitely feel good about giving back to your community. So there is the link for our website. Please look at it. And there's our email if you want to talk to us more. And there's our Instagram, so please follow us. And donations are welcome. Currently, all of the materials and equipment that the students need for their projects are purchased by us. So donations are definitely welcome.
Yeah, and I know that, like adding on to what Alice said, like many of you guys are not high schoolers, middle schoolers, like maybe 8th grade, 7th grade, or 6th grade. And so many of you guys may be inspired by this workshop, will continue your own science research projects. And once you reach high school, you might be inspired to give back to your community. And I think that Opportunity X is an amazing way to do so, because once you have all this experience, teaching it to others is a whole new thing in itself. And it's something that I think many of you guys will find enjoyment in doing. And I think that really volunteering goes beyond just the community service hours. It's really another experience, and it gives, like me, I'm sure Alice can attest more to this, that it gives you a lot of enjoyment to help out these other students and just to teach them what you have learned over the past few years. And it's just an awesome way to start giving back to your community. And so, yeah, if you have any questions, our website has a lot of information about Opportunity X, like how it started, what we do, and how we're looking for volunteers. And so if you know any high school students who are interested in science, or if you yourself is interested in getting involved with this organization, I definitely encourage you to reach out to us, whether it's through any of our social media or website or email. And yeah, donations are welcome. We have a donation box at the back of the room, and so if you learned anything from this workshop or anything, we'd be more than glad if you could donate to Opportunity X. Once again, like all the donations will go towards supporting our school programs and teaching students how to do their own science research projects.
Okay, so thank you for listening, and now we can begin the Q&A session. Yes.
So does Opportunity X, what are the names of the schools that you sponsor?
Yeah, okay. So personally, I'm at River Glen School.
What are all of them?
So we have, in Texas, we have a branch in Corpus Christi. I don't know the exact middle school because that's led by someone in Texas. And in Florida, we have one in Fort Myers. In East San Jose, which is the Bay Area, we have Pitt Hardwood Academy, which was actually our first program. Our second program was River Glen, which is the one that Alice leads. And we have one at Morel Middle School, which is the one that I lead with a few other high school students. And we have another one at Ace Esperanza Middle School, which is also in East San Jose. And so these are the school programs that we have right now, but we're definitely looking forward to reaching out to even more schools in the following upcoming years. And so you might not recognize a lot of these school names because the schools that we usually like to target are schools that are Title I schools. And by Title I, it means that they're 40% or more students who are socioeconomically disadvantaged. And so I know that a lot of you guys go to Harvard or some other schools that might not fall into the Title I category, but after you learn a lot about science research, is a great way to give back to people who might not have the same resources as you do by teaching these programs. And feel free to ask questions about like the first part of the presentation, which was about like the science research experience, and any questions about advice or how to conduct your own research project or how to do well at science fairs. We're open to any questions.
This Broadcom Master is only for middle schools.
Yes, Broadcom Masters is only for middle school students. You can apply in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade.
And I'd like to add that like beyond middle school is like a pretty confined section of research. Broadcom Masters is definitely the major science fair that a lot of middle schoolers aspire to perform well in. But in high school, there's so many more opportunities, and it goes beyond the competitions. There's internships, and there's like summer programs. And like doing science research in middle school is a really great way to get a head start on research and to start using skills that you might want to use in high school research. And even beyond that, there's college research as well. So it's a great time to start in middle school.
And for the science competitions in high school, some famous ones, like I said earlier, were Intel ISEP and Generon.
So when the students start applying for these extras, is it doesn't that you finish or what's the stage between?
Yeah, so when they apply, it's just a basic outline. You should include a certain amount of detail so that the judge will know that you're pretty serious about your project, but you definitely don't have to have any like data or conclusions for your project when you apply for the regional science fair. Yes.
So you said to apply for Broadcom Masters, if you use something about humans or animals, you have to fill out a form?
Yeah, so that's actually for the regional science fair, and there's this SRC pre-approval form because like dangerous chemicals, animals, humans, whoever is gonna be grading, like looking at your application, they want to know that you have a certain level of guidance so that you won't be like throwing dangerous chemicals everywhere.
So does plants fall in that category or?
I don't think plants fall in that category, but you should definitely check with the detailed guidelines.
I don't think they do, but if you do anything involving bacteria or some like viruses or something, I believe you have to fill out like a harmful chemicals form or something.
Well, do you have